Thank you very much, and wasn't that a terrific way to start our morning? That was beautiful. Well, again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Good morning. Before I begin, I would like to recognize the Algonquin Nation on whose traditional territory we are gathering. We would like to acknowledge them as past, present, and future caretakers of this land. It's truly a pleasure to be here this morning to open Destination Canada's annual public meeting. We've had a terrific year, and I would like to thank my colleagues on the board, many of whom are here in front of me, and the entire team at Destination Canada for all of their hard work in making it happen. I'm doing everything I was told on my clicker, but there we go. And we would especially like to thank Minister Chagger for her vision of a more competitive industry and her confidence in our marketing strategy. Earlier this year, our shareholder, the Government of Canada, solidified our funding at $95.5 million ongoing. And I know it was such a crucial moment for our team, for our board, and for the industry, and a great sign of where we believe we're going and what we think we can achieve. And I think this gives us the stability to build on our momentum in key markets in the US and China. But the funding is more than just money. It's part of Canada's new tourism vision, a whole of government approach to competitiveness, issues of marketing, access, and product. At Destination Canada, we're ready to play our role in an aligned and smarter approach to marketing Canada. I think everyone in this room can agree that our industry is in a terrific place. We saw 11% growth in visitation from all of our markets in 2016. At 3 times the rate of global growth, Canada is building market share, and we are attracting the right kind of visitor, the kind that makes the cash register ring. Our success is a result of the unprecedented level of partnership we saw this year. Team Canada is clearly paying off, and I would like to thank all of our partners, many of whom are here to my right, for all of their support. And guess what? The world is noticing. We've been named the Destination of the Year by the New York Times, Lonely Planet, Travel and Leisure, National Geographic, just to name a few. In fact, there was so much good news coming out of 2016, we decided to pull together it all in this video. If we could roll the tape, please. Thank you. 2016 was certainly impressive, and 2017, would say, has been even more exciting, with Canada's 150th birthday celebrations attracting global attention. This year is on track to be Canada's best year ever. Looking forward to 2018 and the Canada-China Year of Tourism, we have a terrific opportunity to seize this momentum we've built. Now to tell you about how we will welcome even more of the world here next year, please put your hands together for the President and CEO of Destination Canada, David Goldstein.
Merci bien. Bonjour tout le monde.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Welcome to Gatineau. It's a tremendous pleasure for me, on behalf of Destination Canada and your board of directors, our team here in Canada and abroad, to be here with you today. And I'd like to thank our friends and colleagues at TIAC for having organized this Congress.
At TIAC, the program for the Congress looks spectacular, and I know you're all going to enjoy the next couple of days. It's been a great year for us. As Ben outlined, and as the video outlined, 2016 was an exceptional year. But the good news is that 2017 seems to be getting even better, and we are tracking for the all-time record for international visitation for Canada at over 20.8 million people. That's almost 1 million more people than we received last year. And if you give a sense of scope, the population of this region, Ottawa-Gatineau, is roughly about 1 million people. That's how many people we received in Canada over last year. A tremendous success, but not just our success. One of the reasons we like to do this with the TIAC Congress is to be amongst our partners in the industry. Just a show of support. Who's having a good year? Come on, who's having a good year? And we're going through a series of transitions within this marketing strategy that are going to continue to build growth throughout the markets and across the country from coast to coast to coast. The U.S., of course, these are the numbers to date from Stats Canada. Again, fairly robust growth out of the U.S., specifically on air arrivals, which were up 5%. And to give you a sense of context, 2002, when we had the largest, was the previous record before this year, of arrivals to Canada, about 70% of those were Americans, 75, and almost 85% of those were rubber tire traffic arrivals. So almost 8-to-1 ratio of rubber tire traffic to air traffic. That ratio is now getting closer to 2-to-1. And we know, and while we still love our rubber tire traffic guests, we know that those customers who are arriving by air usually are a much higher yield traveler, more business focused, and really are driving more revenue to our operators across the country. The international markets are also performing well, on average over 7%. And again, just to put that into reference, the international average is still around 4%. So we are going to continue to meet or beat the international average of growth arrivals. And for those of you who are here for the Congress, you're going to get a more detailed report on that in John Mamella's session later. But again, we continue to see, with some tough economic and geopolitical headwinds, we're still seeing tremendous growth here in Canada. This was a spectacular celebration for us this year, and I have colleagues from Canadian Heritage here, where as part of the federal family, we were celebrating Andrew Campbell. Andrew, stand up and be recognized. Yay! Andrew is the king of Canada 150. Many of you know Andrew from his previous life at Parks Canada, and it was always been a very, very good friend of the tourism industry. We have done a great job together within the federal family at celebrating this truly spectacular event, Canada's 150th birthday. We took sort of two roles as part of this celebration. One was the program that we launched, the Millennial Travel Program. And again, John's going to go into that in more detail in his marketing presentation later in the Congress. But it was a huge success. For those of you who were here last year, we signed our agreement with Bell Media to co-produce a series of truly amazing experiences. And those experiences that were put through their portal, both on traditional television and through their digital portals, reached 86% of Canadian millennials and increased the number of trips by millennials in Canada, I think, by over 40%. It was a huge, huge success, and we were really proud to be part of it. The success of that campaign here in Canada was so strong that we were able to repurpose that content and moved it across 7 different international markets. Again, driving younger travelers to Canada was a huge success. But beyond that, as part of our role with Canada 150, we did a great deal of media relations work to get the word out about Canada. So we're just going to roll, gentlemen, if you can roll tape, give you a bit of a snapshot of what the 150 looked like for us. It was a tremendous celebration, and the celebration continues, and we're going to harness that momentum moving forward. Obviously, one of the key markets, I could spend time going through all the markets and all their successes over the last year and into this year, but one of the biggest top of mind is obviously the United States and the Connecting America campaign. To date, probably the biggest partnership participation of any program that either the CTC or Destination Canada has been able to undertake. It's had significant benefit to the industry in driving leads to our partners. I want to give a particular shout out to my friend and colleague Suzanne Reeves. Where's Suzanne? Stand up, Suzanne. Suzanne Reeves was the Executive Director for the Connecting America program. Sadly, she's leaving us to go on to do more sane projects, I'm sure, but a tremendous business leader and was able to do great things with our partners, as the evidence will show. As many of you will remember, the Connecting America program was begun with within a 3-year window, and then was made permanent, or that part of the funding was made permanent in the budget 2 years ago. But we had a 3-year expectation to be able to drive an additional million or 1,350,000 guests to Canada incrementally, and over $620 million in revenue. This is we've surpassed, this was the 3-year goal. We've surpassed them in each year. And again, next year, I'm hoping to stand in front of you and give you the report on the 3-year initiative. But it was so successful after the first year and a half that the federal shareholder has made it permanent. We're going to be permanently ensconced in the U.S. leisure market, and our partners have played an impressive role in making sure that we have given amplification to this campaign and tremendous success. This year alone, $21 million in partner investment, 81 million audience pool retargeting, over 1 million leads delivered to our partners. 160 million video views. I can't even remember the enormous number of video pieces that we did as part of the content campaign. 10.8 million social media engagements. This is a campaign with traction that has differentiated and delivered visitors to Canada, predominantly in the aviation space, and we are seeing new partners that have come on stream in the aviation space because they've seen the success of this program, and we're looking forward to its continued success. The next big thing on the horizon, and Ben mentioned this in his opening remarks, is China. Many in this room have been engaged in the China market for several years now. I think it's been 7 years since we signed the approved destination status agreement. And the market has changed, evolved, and grown, and we continue to change and evolve and grow with it. It is the opportunity of our generation. It is an opportunity to harness one of the biggest, not just the biggest engines economically, but a tremendous piece of people-to-people connectivity, trade and education that we have probably in, as I said, in a generation. And what we know is the Chinese traveler has changed. That the long ago sort of the typical ADS tour group, which is still part of that business, has moved on to a more affluent FIT traveler, smaller groups, and those who have a more sophisticated approach to travel. They've traveled the world, and we have now a two-tier strategy or a two-speed strategy with China that now opens up a whole series of secondary markets. Largely due to increased air access and our federal shareholders' opening of 7 new visa application centers in secondary markets in China. So if you thought that the Chinese market was 3 or 4 primary markets, you ain't seen nothing yet. We have increased our budget in China for next year by almost 25%, and the partner response already has been significant. I had the honor, really privileged to be with the Prime Minister of Canada, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau, in China last September when he announced the Canada-China Year of Tourism, which, as Ben said, is going to be kicking off in a couple of months. And I also had a great honor and privilege to be on a very small trade mission or state mission with David Johnson, the Governor General, this summer, and Minister Chagar. And for those of you who remember me from my TIAC days, if you had told me 8 years ago that the Governor General of Canada was going to be taking a mission to China and the 3 sole planks of the platform were travel, education, innovation, I wouldn't have believed you. It was a more remarkable piece which echoes the federal government's support of the tourism industry and their interest of seeing our success. So we're looking forward to the Canada-China Year of Tourism. We have a bunch of programs and special elements that are going to roll out as part of that, so stay tuned. But for the moment, we just want to show you a quick video to help everybody get a little charged up. Can you roll the tape, please? Canada only succeeds if we all succeed. And driving business to our large centers is extremely important, but making sure that that success is felt from coast to coast to coast is a critical part of our mission as well. That's why we've been working to raise awareness about smaller communities, rural communities, northern communities and their product through a series of content delivery mechanisms. And we're going to continue to build that as part of our arsenal and our portfolio going into finishing 2017 and into 2018. I wanted to share with you one project. It was a pan-northern project where a series of chefs flew across the north of Canada on a culinary experience or a culinary exercise of great proportion, of almost global proportion. So it was an extremely exciting exercise, and we're looking actively for other partners in the rural space, especially in the rural north, to bring those experiences to life. So can you roll the next piece, please?
I feel in a certain way complete, you know. We've come all the way from Vancouver and up into Whitehorse and through Yellowknife and in the Arctic. And every place we've stopped so far has its own niche. Every province so different. To use ingredients that are from this region, you know, it's the only way to really get a sense of places, to taste the food from here, and that means tasting the food from the land.
We believe that one of the most important relationships in Canada right now is with our Indigenous people. As many of you know, if you've been to the previous two annual public meetings, we have consistently built and strengthened our relationship with what is now the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, with several key pillars of that relationship. This is not only important, we believe, from a reconciliation perspective and community building and capacity perspective, and help building small entrepreneurs to be export ready. But frankly, it is a very important part of our distinguishing value proposition in a very competitive world. Bringing authentic cultural experiences to international travelers is what's going to distinguish us, part of what's going to distinguish us as a destination as we move forward. We've had a strong and building relationship with Keith Henry and his team. Happy to announce that for those of you who don't know, Dave Laveau, who's the vice chair of their board, has been recently nominated to our board. So thank you, Dave, for making us honest on a regular basis. But this has been a long building relationship that has been built on several pillars, including a piece of important research that we did together, particularly with the US market. One of the challenges was frankly confronting biases and stereotypes and explaining to the US market through the Connecting America campaign the power and the presence of authentic Indigenous experiences. So we did a series, we did a fairly in-depth study. It was with a series of focus groups in various US markets to help us get a better understanding of how to break some of those stereotypes and how to win this, the hearts and minds of authenticity. We then used that to move into the marketing materials. Many of you will recall, last year we did a series of vignettes called The Power of, I think then it was called The Power of Aboriginal Tourism. But we used the research to inform the next wave of those vignettes. There's 3 of them that have been produced. They're going to be going across both our social media platforms and ITAC's social media platforms that really talk about the soul and the spirit and the experience. We've done a little compilation of the 3 of them, so I'm going to give you a little taste of that right now. Guys, can you roll tape?
Of course, with any family, there's obviously history, right? Our DNA goes deep, deep, deep into the soil. We are a part of this land. We're all the same people, surrounded by a world that you can't really explain. When you accept that, the mysticism of our ways becomes real. We want to break barriers and invite people in to learn about us, to learn together. Because in the end, you have to experience these stories for yourself.
So how do we win? How do we continue to win? How does Team Canada continue to win? Alignment and collaboration will bring us results. When we look across amongst our competitors, one of the real advantages that we have, and it's Yes, it's the beauty and the openness of our people in our space. And it's all of the attributes that we know about Canada. But the alchemy, if you will, the alchemy of our success is really based on the partnerships that we put together. And we have celebrated those partnerships, and we have strengthened them across the board, and have made it a central priority of the organization. This is not just Destination Canada leading. Sometimes we lead from behind, but our partners together are the chorus that becomes the voice of Canada internationally. That requires a whole bunch of different kinds of partnerships. The next one I want to speak to is with Statistics Canada. I know around the 24th or the 25th of the month, you all sit by your computer, waiting anxiously for the monthly numbers to come out. It's said that accurate and timely data are the oxygen for good ideas and good decisions. As you know, we have been working very closely with Statistics Canada for over 2 decades, but particularly now in a very charged big data environment, there have been a series of challenges of how we recast and how we perform better, given our obligation under Section 5 of the Canadian Tourism Commission Act to provide accurate and timely information to the industry. We have seen a great deal of support with our federal shareholder through our department of ISED and through our sister organization within that department, Statistics Canada. And today I'm going to invite Anil Arora, the Chief Statistician of Canada, to come sign with me a new MOU to embed our two organizations to deliver much stronger results with regards to both spending and arrivals data starting in 2018. Anil, will you join me?
Thank you very much, David, for this invitation and this opportunity to work with you on this joint effort to improve tourism information. I have to say I was very impressed with all the stats and the numbers in your videos. Je suis très heureux d'être ici aujourd'hui.
I'm honored to be here today. This is a tremendous opportunity to illustrate the 3 partnerships between Destination Canada and Statistics Canada.
And showcase our strengths to the world. Canada's tourism industry needs high-quality information to remain a destination of choice for travelers and to accurately measure the success of our tourism initiatives. In fact, it's just coincidence. Today, at 8:30, we just released our characteristics of international travelers in the second quarter of this year. You'll be pleased to know international travelers made 5.5 million overnight trips to Canada in the second quarter. This is a 7.6% increase from the same quarter last year. 13.4% increase in overnight trips by residents of countries other than the United States. And for United States residents, that increased by 5.2% alone. And tourism spending, and this is the big thing here, by international travelers totaled $5.5 billion in this period. As David mentioned, our history of cooperation goes back a long ways, and I am truly pleased to renew this partnership today, which allows us to better measure international tourism to Canada, and this work is totally aligned to our modernization efforts at Statistics Canada. And it is through this sustainable partnership that we can continue to provide you all and all Canadians and Canadian businesses with reliable and timely information to make those really important decisions that matter to us all. I really, really look forward to this continued collaboration. Encore une fois, merci beaucoup.
And once again, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you very much, Anil. I guess there are sort of two groups of people who make our success. They're impossible to succeed without them. And I do want to take a moment to thank the team at Destination Canada, both here and internationally. Many of them are here today, so I'm going to ask them to stand up for a second. I'm going to ask you to put your hands together and give thanks to the work that they're doing for you 24/7 across 5 different continents. Where's the team? The other invaluable players on the ice, or the collective 6th player on the ice, are our partners, the nucleus of which are the provinces and territories and the city DMOs, the major city DMOs. For those of you who were at the APM last year, you'll recall we were discussing a new initiative called North Star 22. We knew, our diagnostic told us that where Canada can win is by not just talking about alignment, but creating sustainable long-term strategic alignment amongst the major partners who are investing in our international markets. And that meant coming together as sort of the Team Canada family, if you will, to pick sort of top-line results and regional results that we were hoping to achieve, to figure out sort of a common dashboard of key performance indicators that we could all measure success by, and to look through the channels of our participation in the various markets, not in a one-size-fits-all piece, but in tailored sub-campaigns with each of our partners to make sure they could achieve their results and that those results roll up into our overall success. We have had quarterly meetings, so this is the 10 provinces, the 3 territories, 10 of the major city DMOs are part of this group, this coalition. We meet on a quarterly basis. Our teams continue to work on improving metrics and data and techniques and strategy and tactics. We've done a tremendous amount of work leading up to this year, and today we're going to celebrate a milestone for the Canadian tourism sector. And I've done a little checking around, a milestone and a bit of a point of envy among some of our key competitors, where we're coming together with a multi-year strategy under the North Star 22 banner to look at all of these issues, including channel alignment and how we present Canada to the international world. I'm going to ask a woman who many of you know, Maureen Riley, our Executive Director of Program Partnership. She's going to come up and do effectively the roll call for our partners as we collectively sign the North Star 22 MOU. But the first signature, which we felt was important, was a nation-to-nation agreement, and that's with the Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada. So I'm going to invite Keith Henry to come up to be the first signatory of the North Star Agreement, and then we're going to ask Maureen to invite the rest of the partners up.
Indigenous Tourism Association of Canada, Keith Henry. Destination British Columbia, Richard Porges. Tourism Vancouver, Ty Spear. Tourism Victoria, Paul Nursey.
I know you're dying to do this.
Tourism Whistler, signing partner but unable to attend. Travel Alberta, Royce Chewin. Tourism Calgary, Cindy 80. Banff and Lake Louise Tourism, signing partner but unable to attend today. Tourism Saskatchewan, Jonathan Potts. Travel Manitoba, Colin Ferguson. Destination Ontario, Lisa Lavecchia.
Yes.
Tourism Toronto, Joanne Bélanger. Ottawa Tourism, Michael Crockett. Tourism Niagara Falls, John Jackson.
Hey, John.
Alliance de l'industrie touristique du Québec, Sébastien Vial. Tourisme Montréal, Yves Lalumière. Québec Ville et Région, André Roy. Atlantic Canada Agreement on Tourism, Kevin Moufoulier. Yukon Tourism, Pierre Germain. Northwest Territories Tourism, Kathy Bolstad. Destination Nunavut, Nancy Guillaume. And finally, Destination Canada, David Goldstein.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Canada. Thank you, guys. Sorry. Now the real work begins. This has been a very exciting period. There's never been a better time for us to be selling Canada. With the bench strength that we have and the alignment that we are building, there is no doubt that we are going to continue on a path to drive long-term, sustainable growth for the sector from coast to coast to coast. It is a great privilege to stand here and to be part of this team, the broader team. I want to thank you, many of you in the industry who work on our committees, who bring us suggestions, who are participants in our programs. The work that you do to provide the input to us to make us better and stronger. Our team relies on it and we appreciate that. We're going to end off today, of course being an annual public meeting, to see if there are any questions from the floor. There are a couple microphones out on the floor, and I or members of my team would be happy to take any of your questions, comments, or concerns. Oh, there's a question over there. If you could, when you ask a question, if you could just let us know who you are and where you're from.
Hi, I'm Barry Bhargavi Varma, and I run a video production company and shot the video for Fogo Island Inn, which is definitely a property that a lot of people in the room might recognize, and if you don't,
I'm sorry, can you bring her mic up a bit? I'm having a hard time hearing her up here. Sorry, can you start again, please?
Good thing I remember my name a second time.
Okay.
My name is Bhargavi. I run a video production and distribution company for hospitality brands, and a brand that is beloved to me is Fogo Island Inn, for which we won a Cannes Award and shot a video for. And thank you. A question I have, looking at Team Canada, is diversity a part of the mandate as far as who is on the actual board?
Yes. So diversity is not just a core value, but it's actually one of our competitive winning advantages. When we look into the research of what our international clientele is looking for, where Canada scores exceptionally high is a sense that we're open, we're safe, there's a sense of belonging and welcoming here. And it transcends region, and it is an embedded part of what we do. Because I don't have all the hours in the day to give you this full breadth, but I invite you to take a look at some of our international work. Between that sort of reflection of Canada, between the work that we're doing with Indigenous communities, the work that we're doing with the LGBTQ community in specific campaigns and specific markets, it's a deeply embedded part. And as I said at the beginning, it's not just good values, it's good business. But thank you for raising it. I know you people, you have opinions. You cannot be sitting there and not have questions. Well, anyone? Well, seeing none, I'm going to take that as a reflection that we covered a great deal of work and that everybody is relatively happy. I and the team are going to be around for the next couple of days, so we're looking forward to engaging with the industry and looking forward to engaging your questions. Keep up the good work. Our stuff only resonates when the Canadian industry is there to receive customers and builds part of our international brand, which is the experiences they have when they come here. It's a great time to be selling Canada. I want to thank you for joining us for the annual public meeting. I want to thank the board. I want to thank my team. Thanking Tayak again and the crew. Have a great Congress. Thank you very much.